Yeah, Unterbuchner showed his stickability yet again yesterday. I'm impressed by him. It's obviously semi-final last year, not a fluke.
No, I think he's like Velcro. You just can't shake him off. I mean, Mandigas was really good. I mean, I've said all week that he has improved as a player. I backed that up yesterday with a really good start of the game, but obviously there was a point in the middle when Unterbuchner really stepped it up a bit. Mandigas just regressed a little bit. But the best part of the game was the last set. The 149 to elongate the game into a tiebreaker is one of the best shots I've ever seen, you know, from a timing perspective and difficulty as well. We've talked about difficult shots, but
they were all over the place, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what makes it more impressive.
Yeah.
Because it was up, down, and across, and the moment and the timing.
Yeah, a lesser player would have absolutely wilted after that and said, you know, it's not going to be my day, I'm not going to get this done. But Unterbuchner, what did he do? He won the next 2 legs and got it done. Just a fabulous response to that finish. And it was a great game.
Yeah, I fancied OB in this one, and you fancied Suzuki. On the back of OB's last win, she seemed to find her level. But in this one, I think she got involved with the crowd. The crowd were absolutely all over them.
Yeah, it was a slightly different crowd. I mean, it was jammed to the rafters here yesterday afternoon, and OB just looked a little bit
Pensive.
Flustered.
Yeah.
A little bit at times. You know, Suzuki came out and started with a 180, and you think, oh, hang on a minute.
And she had earplugs in.
Yeah.
For the first time, and she was conscious of how loud it was in here for the first couple of days, and I think she said in her interview this was the first game I wanted to really get switched on.
Yeah, and we found out yesterday that she usually does wear earplugs for concentration, so we definitely know she's going to be using them during the final. But ultimately, Suzuki just did a very steady game, and
she got better, didn't she, as the match went on?
Yeah, Maria just didn't seem to have a response, which is sad, but she has made progress this year.
Yeah, Whitehead's had a great tournament, a really, really great tournament. And I think he lost out more because of experience rather than ability.
I think the tournament, when he looks back on it, he will have a really big smile on his face. He showed a lot of passion. His support will be very proud of him. They should be. But ultimately, I think the seasoned veteran that is Scott Waits, the guy who's won pretty much everything.
More than once.
Just the timing of some of the things he did, and you know, the strength of his big scoring. It was just brilliant, and it's no surprise that Scott was good enough to get that job done. A lesser player may have succumbed to Conan Whitehead, but Waits is just very sneakily going about his business, and he's almost gone under the radar.
Yeah, I was just about to say he has gone under the radar. I mean, he was one of my picks. He was one of my outside picks before the tournament started because, I don't know, just something about Scott Waits. He knows how to win big tournaments.
Yeah, he knows how to win at this Lakeside venue as well, and we talked about Glen Durrant having wobbles. Well, of course, Scott Waits has had his wobble on doubles. He had a fallout with double 18 a couple of rounds ago, but ultimately, since then, he has fixed those things, and he is looking very, very dangerous.
Tough game, this one. Practice partners, friends, doubles partners.
Yeah.
But they both went up there and they both did a really professional job. They were both switched on. I know Anastasia was slightly disappointed with the performance. I thought she played really, really well. She just... some days the trebles just won't click and they won't drop in, and it was a case of that for her. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Anastasia can definitely be disappointed with the performance, but ultimately Lorraine is not the kind of lady player who is going to go up there and average 90 plus a lot of the time. She's going to average that sort of 75 to 80, but her strength is when she leaves tops for me, and she's capable of hitting very difficult outs at right times. And I mean, with the big bulbous barrels and a very different technique, she brings an unconventional game to a very exciting division in darts at the moment. And I think Lorraine has got some real steel behind her this week. We've seen a really good game face from her. And what I loved about this game was that it was played in good spirit before and after, but during, it was just a really good, tense game face type of situation.
Yeah, the friends went out the window. She does. I think Wayne Mardle's picked up on it, and I never really thought about it until he said it. She reminds me of Maureen Flowers. Her throw, her demeanour. I mean, she's very, very efficient. Like you say, she doesn't really do anything flashy, but everything she does is calculated.
Yeah, and she's got herself in the final, so who are we to criticise anything she does? She is very, very close to that first world title, Lorraine, and I get the feeling she's on an emotional knife edge at the minute, with stress, with concentration, and potentially tears if she can get the job done.
Yeah, McKinstry went down 5-2, which I think is a really flattering scoreline. He was much better than a 5-2 beating. I like this kid, and I mean, I've got to know him a little bit, but I started watching him about 2 years ago on the streams, on the BDO streams, and I just love the cut of his jib. I love the way he plays. I love his attitude. Everything is literally so much focus in everything he does, and Durrant was absolutely class, considering he missed, I think, what did he waste,
47
darts at a double and still had a 98 average.
Yeah, I mean, some of those sets at the very start of the match, they were all 2-2 going into
flips.
Yeah,
Coin flips.
I think the first break of throw in the match was something like the 13th leg, which is borderline ridiculous. And then after that, Glenn just started doing a little bit more, and you could see the fight in Kyle McKinstry, which we loved to see. His temperament is brilliant, and that's why I'm really excited to watch him in the future. But again, very much like Conan Whitehead, I think Kyle McKinstry will look back on this tournament as maybe the start of his career, because he has got a high level. Ultimately, Glenn was just too good in 2 of those sets where he averaged 108 and 111, and that was what Kyle McKinstry couldn't live with.
Yeah, I think it was 37 of a possible 40 legs played in this one. I mean, this was an absolute epic. I love the way Scott Mitchell plays darts. I don't know what it is about it. Some people don't like it because it's very methodical and it's calculated. I just love it. Everything is done for a purpose with Scott Mitchell. But Jim Williams, we were saying it about him last year when he lost out to Glenn Durrant in another thriller, that this kid potentially has got his name on that trophy. Potentially,
because he can score a lot of 180s, and that could be the difference in the semi-finals. It might have to be. He's going to have to get a stack of 180s. He might actually have to get close to that record of 22 in a match.
Thanks for
that. Sorry, mate. I was reminded of that yesterday. But Williams has got real spirit in his game this year, because after that heartbreaking loss to Glenn Durrant last year in the quarterfinals where he was 4-up, I think sometimes you need a bit of inspiration, not from winning, but defeat. And I think that has been the thing. He's said, you know what, I've got to put this right. I've got to steady the ship. I've got to get rid of that heartbreak. And why not do that against the person who actually created that heartbreak 12 months ago?
And he's one of the few players that you sense learns from defeat. You know, a lot of us, it's very easy just to walk away from a defeat and put it down to bad luck or anything else. It just, you know, your name's not on pot, lad. My saying. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Jim Williams.
Yeah.
You know, we felt 12 months ago, we felt 24 months ago. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a when with Jim. I think he's creating a game plan when you're playing 501. He's finding his strengths, and he's finding more strengths as seasons go on. Is he the finished article right now? He's very, very close indeed. But ultimately, he's going to be tested against Glenn.